Good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome to today's webinar and in-depth guide on eTIMS. I'm Madan, product marketer at Zoho Books, and I will be your moderator for today's session. We are thrilled to have you with us today, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be with us. Now, I would like to introduce you to the speakers of the day. As you are aware, this session dives deep into tax complexities and compliance, and there's no one better to drive this than the business head of the Zoho Finance Suite, Mr. Guru Rajan. He is the backbone of Finance Suite's product development in the Middle East and Africa region. I'm so glad to invite him to the session. Welcome, Guru.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Up next, we have with us Vignesh KJ, our very own product expert. There is little to no one acquainted with Zoho Books in the Africa region who's not aware of KJ's experience and expertise. KJ is going to present something exciting and an exclusive sneak peek into how Zoho Books is getting ready for items. Warm welcome, KJ.
Thank you, Madan.
Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. All the participants are in listen only mode, which means you are muted to avoid any background noises. We encourage you to submit the questions in the Q&A panel I showed at the beginning during any time of the session by pressing that Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will address as many as questions possible during the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. If you experience any technical difficulties, please use the same section to reach out to us. Without further ado, I will turn it over to you, Guru.
Thank you, Madan. So I think thank you for everyone to join this session. Once again, we will get into the in-depth of eTIMS. But before we get into the depth of eTIMS, I just wanted to have a very quick look at the agenda. So we are scheduled for an hour's time now. So can we have an agenda, please, Madan? So we will cover the overview of eTIMS first. Then we will also look at the features and what kind of benefits are there for eTIMS. And we will also go through how you can prepare your business for eTIMS and some of the compliance and regulations requirements. And most important thing is about the preview of Zoho Books with eTIMS. That session will be handled by my colleague KJ. And towards the end, Q&A. Of course, Q&A, it need not wait till the end. You can post the questions like Madan said, you can post it. So what is eTIMS? If you look at it, of course, everybody knows it's an electronic tax. Everybody knows it's electronic tax invoice management system. But is it another tax? No, it is actually the way how the information is collected into KRA. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. How we can move, the KRA is collecting the tax is the only change. So it's not a new tax. It's just a way of how the KRA collects the information from each one of the businesses there. Many people think like why this is being implemented. I'm not getting into any other things. What I look at it is mostly it is for simplicity, convenience, and flexibility of both the parties, the taxpayer and tax receiver. That is you as a business, and also the receiver means KRA or the government entity. So this is the main purpose, I would say, for the eTIMS. So it is a digital system, as we say. So everything is going to be digital, and you can not only just manage and verify tax invoices, you can do a lot of things, other related things with eTIMS, which we are going to cover in detail now. So what you look at it is previously, you were submitting returns manually. Now KRA is expecting you to pass this information electronically. It is automated in that sense. So when we say automated, what we are talking about is, say, for example, if a KRA comes for audit. So previously they used to ask for the manual receipts and to ascertain the VAT liability, etc. All these things will be transformed to digital way. So even if somebody KRA officer visits your premises, even before visiting, they might have a substantial amount of data, so that visit might be required or not required, the KRA can determine. See, one key expectation from eTIMS is all the persons engaged in the business are required to onboard into eTIMS and issue electronic tax invoices. This is a mandate or the law there in Kenya. So any person, if somebody wants to claim business expenses, the expenses must be supported by a electronic tax invoice. What that means is, if you are actually into business and you are giving invoice to another business, if that your customer needs to claim the tax benefit for that as a business expense, then they must possess a eTIMS validated invoice. So your customers will demand, most probably if you are into business, they will demand eTIMS validated invoice so that they are on the right side of for claiming business expense in their IT returns. So what happens here is, who are all expected to register? I would say every company, be it a partnership, sole partner, proprietorship, association, trust, or anybody, basically everyone, or even somebody who is coming on TOT, turnover tax, that is, or somebody who is on monthly rental income tax, or any sector, being in informal sector, also are expected to register for this eTIMS. Another question comes into mind is whether, in case if you are not coming under VAT threshold, whether are you required to register for eTIMS. The KRA is very clear on this. Any person who is in business, whether they are required, obligated for the VAT threshold or not, they are expected to register for onboard into eTIMS. So even if you are a VAT registered person, previously you are not adopted TIMS ETR device for some reason, we are not getting into why you are not registered earlier, but still you are expected to onboard into eTIMS. So this is the definition, or you can say this is all some of the basic tenets of eTIMS. Moving on, how it is, Madan, how it is evaluated in the last 1 year or so. If you look at it, previously the ETR was there, which is electronic tax register, which was a physical device which is used to transmit information from to KRA almost in real time. So that is being used by most of the VAT registered business in Kenya now. Now, as we see, there is a cost of the device, and also some maintenance cost was also there. And generally, we encourage people, even if those people who are having these devices, also it is a good idea to shift into eTIMS. So naturally, the question comes into our mind, how it is different from the ETR device. See, ETR device is a physical device. eTIMS is a completely software driven. So KRA actually offers a free software even for VAT registered. If your business is only into eTIMS mainly for services, you can actually use that solution, and then you are still onboarded into eTIMS. So any business income, if somebody is from having Kenya, they must register into eTIMS. And this is actually, if you look at it, initially it was started on September 2023. Then January 2024 was given as a deadline for onboarding into eTIMS. And we have seen 3 months grace period was given for non-VAT registered business to onboard. But again, if you are there, you need to enter the invoices in between from 1st January to 31st March also. So definitely it has evolved over a time. If you look at the adoption rates, there are multiple numbers, but a conservative estimate is around 200,000 to 250,000 or 260,000 businesses have already adopted eTIMS out of 900,000 odd businesses in Kenya. So some of you might wonder whether 900,000 businesses are existing in Kenya. Again, this is a different question, but informally that businesses must be there. This is what our this thing is. So definitely there is a long way to go in eTIMS adoption in Kenya, and we at Zoho are also looking in helping businesses to adapt to eTIMS in this fashion. Moving on, some of the major features of eTIMS. Even before I get into the major features of eTIMS, there are actually 4 types of, I can say 4 subset of eTIMS. One is actually an online portal. So the KRA has provided a web-based portal only for service-based business. Say if you are into service-based business, say for example, if you are an accountant or you are offering some kind of a digital marketing service or any type of services, there is no material trading of goods is involved. you can log into online portal, register yourself, and you can start issuing invoices from that, which will be eTIMS compliant invoices. So that is available for you. This is the first type, what we call it as a online portal. Second type of subtype of eTIMS is a eTIMS client. This is actually a downloadable client provided by the KRA. It's available in Windows and as well as Macintosh platforms, I think. So then you can download it. You can use it for both goods and service business. Say, for example, you are handling trading goods, or you are offering both goods and services businesses. Even if you have multi branches or different deals or pay points are available, you can still download the client and you can issue the invoices from that particular point. Then those invoices will be actually eTIMS compliant invoices. This is the second option. Third option will be virtual sales control unit. So if some organizations, they have their own ERP, say maybe with bulk invoicing needs, then this might be a good option for them. So this is a third type called virtual sales control unit. And fourth option is an online sales control unit. So it's an online invoicing system or ERP, say like Zoho Books. So which is tightly integrated with KRA systems. So what happens in this type is you have your own system, which is like say Zoho Books or any other ERP, which is connected with KRA, tightly integrated with KRA. So you start to issue the invoices, which are automatically compliant with the eTIMS requirements. The key point to note here is the first and second option might not give you the complete accounting related aspects. Yes, they might be helping you to manage the eTIMS invoicing requirements. They might be helping you to understand the stock position, but nothing beyond that, be it a profit and loss or an outstanding receivable payable situation. All those things might not be available in the point number 1 and 2, that is online portal and eTIMS client. So if you are a business, it is a very good idea to look at either 3 and 4, but again, I leave the decision to you. There are multiple factors to get into that. So any type of this thing you choose, some of the things are mandatory. So we are going to discuss more about OSCU today. So one is the real-time invoice verification. So whatever sales data you have reported to KRA is verified with the basic checks of KRA, even before you issue to the customer. So things maybe like whatever the tax basic requirements of tax computation, etc., are automatically taken care, and the invoice is generated with QR code. So anybody with a scanner can just scan the QR code and they can verify the genuineness of e-invoice raised. That is one point. Second thing is, since the database of iTax and eTIMS is actually internally, I understand it is the same. So whatever the data generated through eTIMS will be stored in iTax for generation of VAT reports. So in that sense, it is an automated reporting. So you need not worry about the invoice generated in eTIMS will also be appearing in the iTax or other aspects. Another feature we need to look at is the integration capabilities. So we are talking mainly about OSCU here. So eTIMS has the capabilities to integrate with external systems. Like for example, Zoho Books here, what we are referring to, or any other billing software, provided that solution is supporting API. That means application programming interface. So this is, I will not go too much technical into that. Basically, you are able to send real-time requests and responses. So whenever you create a new item, it is posted into eTIMS or things like that. We will cover about this in the coming slides. Maybe towards the end, we will cover that. So these are all some of the features of eTIMS. So in terms of benefits, if you look at it, of course, the compliance part is very important. So whatever required in terms of eTIMS invoice generation, the basic expectations of an invoice will all be covered, be it in the QR code or mandatory fields like PIN number if you are issuing an invoice to a tax registered entity, or for that matter, the way how you represent your tax structure in an invoice, like how much items are coming in standard rate, how much is coming in reduced rate, what is in exempt income, exempt things, everything is covered in the invoice. So the compliance part is taken care of completely. And reduction in errors. See, when you raise an invoice in a non-eTIMS environment, there is a high possibility the errors could be there. But since the eTIMS negates all those errors, say for example, if you are offering a discount at an item level, tax is calculated on the post discount as a taxable amount. Or if you are billing a tax person registered in Kenya, so that the correct PIN number, you cannot give a dummy PIN number and issue a invoice. So these kind of manual errors can be easily negated with the eTIMS system. And of course, definitely Zoho Books will be helping you in this regard. We have put in necessary controls there to avoid the manual errors. And then efficiency part also, see, previously some of you might have used ETRs or some other devices where some other systems where you generated an invoice, scan the invoice, generate the QR code and send it. So it will be a lot of duplication work is taken care in that time. So now with the eTIMS compliance solution, all these things are taken care of automatically. So this is one major efficiency. So once you are issuing an invoice from a system like Zoho Books, you can be rest assured that all the other aspects of your accounting is also taken care of and no need to worry about the compliance part. And as far as processing of funds, some of you might wonder what is this, like how it can help you in eTIMS can help in processing of funds. Of course, across the world, I won't even get into only into Kenya. Generally, across the world, SMEs especially face a major challenge in terms of receivables. When you are expected to receive money from your customers, there is some kind of a challenges across the world. So in some other geographies, we have seen account aggregators coming into place. Basically, account aggregation is a function. Some businesses undertake this, which actually offers services like collecting financial information from business, which actually eventually will lead to supply chain or working capital finance, etc. So what happens here is if somebody is going to underwrite your invoice or they are going to pay any financial institution for that whichever is allowed by Kenyan government, they can fund your working capital based on an invoice which you generated to your customers. Of course, there are multiple points are there, but again, these are all future. This is the way world is evolving. So when an invoice is kind of vetted by KRA, so the lender gets a much stronger belief that this is a valid invoice, genuine invoice. So it might take 30 days, 45 days to receive the money, but the bank or the financial institution might take it as a collateral and then pay you the money in advance at a differential interest rate. So this is the way we look at as a benefit for the business. Moving on. So another very important step is how can you prepare your business for eTIMS? So one major element is you need to understand the eTIMS requirement in detail. Say, what are all the expectations from eTIMS? Of course, this particular one session is the first step. Of course, KRA has got detailed FAQ and explanations. They are also conducting a lot of awareness sessions, etc. Please, I would urge you to visit KRA website and understand the requirements in detail, because what we are offering here is at a very general level, but your specific business might require something in specific, so you can get it clarified from KRA and then meet to the compliance requirements there. So the requirements are very important from a eTIMS perspective. Second thing is you need to relook at your IT infrastructure, especially on the internet connectivity, because this is a major requirement. When you are generating an invoice, there is an expectation that you are pushing that information to your KRA servers. Online. So you need to be online to be able to push that information into KRA server. So you need to have a fallback option for internet connectivity in case if you're in an area where the internet connectivity is having patchy connections, you need to take care of that. Third option is training your team. I think if you are a VAT registered business and you have already get into ETR kind of a device, you might be knowing the basics part, but still I will cover here. So your operational team must be prepared to raise an invoice as far as possible without any error. See, because once you push the invoice through eTIMS, we are not expecting in a situation where you are going to edit the invoice for material facts. So for example, you raise an invoice for 10 pieces and then you want to change it to 12 pieces or 8 pieces. 12 pieces is fine. We can raise another invoice for 2 pieces. But I'm saying you want to change it to 8 pieces or change the invoice rate, etc. So again, this kind of editing of invoices is not allowed. So you might have to issue a credit note or something like that, additional document. So this might require some training to your team so that they don't alter the data, or there are other minor things related to the eTIMS requirements. You need to train your team for that. Another aspect to look at it is the data cleanup and migration. See, previously you might be using some other system which might be eTIMS compliant, which might not be eTIMS compliant. So when you migrate the systems from one Windows client, maybe to, say, for example, Zoho Books or any eTIMS compliant solution, you might be required to look at the data. Maybe some cleaning up might be required. Then we can take a cutoff date and then do the migration part. This is another element you need to be aware of. Of course, with any change in system, you can always do a test run and then validate it, and then you can come into the eTIMS platform with this. And last but not least, you need to continuously keep on looking at for the changes which KRA is publishing. Of course, Zoho Books also supports in this case, but definitely you need to see that. You need to follow the KRA website and other channels there. In case any changes, material changes they are advising there, you need to follow that, and then you need to comply those things in your business process to see that you are adhering to eTIMS and KRA guidelines. On. So some of the common challenges what we have seen in eTIMS situation is registration. We have seen some challenges we have heard from customers. So when you are first time registering, it might take a day or two to get the approval. So sometimes that is one thing we have seen. Another is the technical issue, especially with respect to, again, I won't say all the time, sometimes the eTIMS server is having some slow connections or network challenges. So sometimes we have seen that. If you have followed the Twitter handle of KRA in the past few days, I think you might have also seen that. These kind of technical issues are quite common. So of course, Zoho Books also helps in preparing the invoice but not issuing it. So that kind of some workarounds are there from our side. But again, this kind of training requirements, especially we have seen the challenges. Some of the staff members who are into the billing process have not adapted to the eTIMS environment. There also we have seen that training for them helps a lot. Of course, solutions, we discussed this in the past. No edit, no delete of invoice. If there is a material change has to be happening to the invoice which you have already, eTIMS invoice if you have issued, always a good practice to issue a credit note, and correct PIN number is used while buying. So it will help you to interact with your vendors. All these things will really help for you to avoid the reduce the challenges and some of the solutions what we see here. Moving on, because I'm running a little bit short on time, so we'll a little bit push. Of course, we can stay compliant. You need to look at the regular updates, whatever updates which are given by KRA in the eTIMS portal. And of course, we at Zoho Books will support it. Any notifications that comes from KRA regarding eTIMS will be updated here. So you can monitor those updates, and whatever, you can also speak to your industry peers, how they are doing in your industry or similar geography wherever you are doing the business, and you can adapt to the practices and the guidelines, whatever they are publishing there. Next. So this is very important part when it looks at accounting software compliance. So when we are talking about accounting software compliance, there are at least 18-19 points which are mandated by KRA for an accounting software to be compliant. Before that, Madan, do we have an idea from the participants, like how many of them are using which type of eTIMS system currently?
Yes, we do, Guru. We pushed out a poll, and 26 of them have voted for online portal and 21 of them haven't registered yet.
Okay, fine. So are we giving a minute for them to fill this, or?
Yes, we did give them a minute and
Okay,
they have.
fine. So definitely see, if you are already registered and if you are not registered, you should look at carefully evaluate what is the accounting software you are selecting for this. And some of the important aspects I would say here, or I won't cover all the 19 in the interest of time. So all the invoice contents, material information, invoice information, and the line level information with respect to the items, in case if you are dealing in items, you need to push to KRA eTIMS. Not just the invoices, even the credit note, debit note, etc. You are expected to give the complete customer information. So their organization with the PIN number, etc. In case if you are selling to customers with the PIN, and item composition, items, various item masters, whatever items you are dealing, that is also expected to be pushed from an accounting software to KRA eTIMS. We also expect all the vendor related information, because that is also customers and vendors are important. We also expect that all the purchase information is required to be pushed. Now this is one small difference. eTIMS is not just one-way traffic of pushing the data from your accounting software to KRA eTIMS. It is the other way around also. So at times you will also receive all the purchases. Say, for example, a particular your vendor has raised a bill to you, who is also registered under eTIMS. So that information will also be available to you. So the system your accounting software must be able to map it to your vendor, and as well as the bill. Maybe the item name, what they call it, may be different. You might have a different item name, but still you will be able to map it. Your accounting software must provide the functionality to map those things. Needless to say, this is not just for inside the Kenya. Even if you are importing goods from outside, if it is KRA Customs has cleared this, Customs Department, even that imported information will come into your system. And not just the purchase and sales, even the stock in hand position of your goods, in case if you are dealing in items, even those information will be required to be updated to KRA eTIMS in this part. The accounting software is expected to handle all those parts. In case if you are having different branches or warehouses or selling stock keeping points, you need to push that information, and also the stock availability in each of these places is required. Last but not the least, the usernames in each branch or head office, wherever you have the users, even that information must be available to KRA eTIMS. Again, these are all some of the major points. Anyhow, we have a small diagram to represent that. Do we have those things here in the screen, Madan? Yeah, this is the workflow what we have. So of course, in the coming session we will cover this in detail, but broadly these are all the things, the workflow, eTIMS workflow in Zoho Books we have covered. But again, this is the same thing what is also expected in accounting software compliance requirements. So I think that brings to the almost the end of my section of the presentation with respect to eTIMS. But we wanted to get into the next session of Zoho Books, how Zoho Books can help you to stay eTIMS compliant. But before that, do we have a question, Madan, for them?
Yes, we do. We do have one, Guru. I will push out a poll, and
Show
if
the
you
poll
are,
also on the screen, or is it okay? Fine, I leave it to you.
yeah. If you are an existing Zoho Books customer, kindly vote the poll. We have quite a lot of them who are new to books. KJ, I think I need to give a little intro to Zoho Books, and then we can jump into eTIMS.
Madan, is the poll done, or?
Yeah, Guru, they are still voting.
Okay, we'll wait for 30 seconds or 1 minute. Okay, while you are actually polling, I'll just give a very high level overview of, I hear that there are quite a few people who are new to Zoho. So I will take a couple of minutes to explain who are we. We are actually a technology company offering software for businesses. Of course, today's discussion is more into Zoho Books, but we also offer software as a service to manage your entire business. So you can look at various offerings in zoho.com. Whenever you are free, I would urge you to look into that, zoho.com, and understand about various offerings. Prima facie, we offer all our solutions on cloud. So anybody can just need an email ID, they can subscribe, and they can, most of our products which are offered as a service allow you a free trial period, generally of 14 days. You can start signing up and start using the particular solutions. So that is about as an organization, and we value privacy, data security as our two major tenants on which this organization is built. So whatever data you are entering in any Zoho platform will be accessible only to those people whom you have authorized. So you can be rest assured that business data, what you are entering in Zoho platform will be kept private, and we will never run ads on any of our products, be it it's a free edition or anything. We will never run ads and will not have any trackers. So this is a promise from our side. So I think that sums up the basic introduction about Zoho as an organization. There are a lot of things to talk, but in the interest of time, I'm skipping that. Are we done with the poll, Madan?
Yes, Guru, we are done with the poll.
KJ, I would request you to take over about the Zoho Books part, but maybe you can open the screen. I will just give a very high-level introduction about Zoho Books, then you can take the lead from there.
Sure, Guru. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, so this is Zoho Books, a cloud-based solution, what we discussed earlier. As you can see, this is available on as a web client and also as an app for you. So there are multiple plans available under this Zoho Books Kenya edition. So whatever we are discussing here is only applicable to Zoho Books Kenya edition. So in case if some of you are using some other edition of Zoho Books, then some of the functionalities what you are seeing might not be available in that. So we urge you, if you are an existing customer of Zoho Books, please check and confirm it is a Kenya edition so that you will be able to use all the functionalities being demonstrated today. Now, couple of things here. You can see LHS left-hand side. You can see various menus stacked under each other, items. So you can have multiple items there. You can also have the adjustments in case if you want to adjust the items. We also have banking module where you can maintain various bank accounts in that, and you can also do the reconciliation part. Of course, sales and purchases, in case if you are issuing a quotation, and then you can send the quotation. We also have an option for customer portal where each customer can be with their email ID. They can log in and see the code sent. They can give a comments, and whenever you raise a sales order or invoice, they can see it. And online, they can pay the money also with the supported payment gateways. Online, it is supported. So the entire thing as a client portal is also available for the client. So it is the client need not have a Zoho Books account, but still he can log in into Zoho Books and see only on the part which you have allowed him to see, be it statement or a bill copy, etc. Same way for purchase, you can raise a purchase order. You can receive the material. Of course, if you are into the respective plan of Zoho Books, you will also have a material receipt option, and you can book the bill, and even you can make an expense, and you can make a vendor payment, etc. The complete part is available. In case if you are the one with the time track projects kind of a business you are in, we support the project time tracking and profitability of project. Even that is complete module is supported in Zoho Books. So you need to have the respective plan so that you will have the options for that. As an accountant, if you are into accounting profession, then we support all the JVs and chart of accounts, currency adjustments, all those things. Very good thing about Zoho Books is everything is tracked. So you need not have a very different system for who did what activities, because all these menus can be, in case if you have multiple users, you can give rights, user controls, users and security controls, wherein you can give different module wise access. And even within the module, you can say like who can edit, who can enter the data, who are authorized to do certain operations. As an administrator you can do, and all of these are tracked with the activity log. So even that option is also available for you. Needless to say, the menu interface is quite easy. You can search anything and then you can generate 70 plus reports are available, including the VAT reports, etc. So you can be rest assured for running your business, all the things what are required is available from the perspective of accounting, and compliance part, VAT compliance part is taken care. I think that sums up my introduction about Zoho Books. Vignesh, I would ask you to take further steps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guru. So today I'm tasked with, introducing you to the most important and the much awaited feature, that is the eTIMS integration with Zoho Books. So, and the answer to all your questions: when is the eTIMS integration coming up? Where is Zoho with eTIMS integrations, etc.? All is getting answered today. Okay, so I'm not wasting any more time, and I'll share my screen and show you how it works. So, and I want to let you know that this is a, overview, a quick overview on the sandbox environment. So if you see any slowness or if you see any errors, please do ignore. And yes, the feature, you'll all get to try the feature real soon as well. So let me share my screen and start the demo. So as soon as you log into your Zoho Books organization, you'll be taken to your dashboard. Now, under profile section, you can provide the basic details of your company, but then we're still focusing on the VAT and the eTIMS aspects here. So I'll fast forward here. So you can directly go ahead and set up your VAT details. So only after you set up your VAT details, you'll be able to integrate eTIMS. So I'll enable the tax settings here. I'll provide my PIN. Then I can provide my VAT registration on VAT registered on date. And then I can also provide my generate first tax return from date. So this is basically the date from which you want to generate your first tax return from Zoho Books. So as soon as you provide that, you can hit save. All right, my tax setup is completed. Now, if I go to the settings again, I'll be able to see the e-invoicing part. So before I enable e-invoicing, I have to, take a look at a couple of prerequisites. So you have to ensure that the tax preference is set as tax inclusive, and also you have to enable the branches. So for that, I'll go to settings, preferences, general. Here, I'll provide the tax preference as tax inclusive and hit save. So one thing is completed. Now to the point number 2, enabling branches. For that, I'll go to organization, branches, and enable branches. Now here, I have to ensure that all the details are provided correctly. All right, that's pretty much of it. Now I can proceed with enabling eTIMS integration. So for that, I'll again go to invoicing and click on setup now. So there are two processes involved here. Say you are an existing eTIMS user and you want to use Zoho Books now. In such an event, you'll have to raise a cancellation request with KRA get it approved, and then raise a fresh commitment request. Post which you can integrate eTIMS with Zoho Books. So there are two forms involved in this process. In the first process, this is called as change of eTIMS solution. This particular form needs to be filled by you, and it has to be submitted to KRA. They'll take a day or two to have it approved. And once that is done, now you'll have to submit a second form. This is called commitment form, which you may have already submitted when you initially set up eTIMS. So this particular form needs to be filled in again, and you have to submit it, get it approved, and then integrate with Zoho Books. All right. Now, in case you are a taxpayer who is yet to onboard eTIMS, the process is pretty much simple. All you have to do is, generate this or submit this particular form to KRA, get it approved, and have it integrated with Zoho Books. So let's see how this works. So in both the cases, once you submit the commitment form, you can come back to Zoho Books and hit generate device serial number. So this will now provide you with a serial number. So you have to copy this down and then, have it added in your commitment form, device serial number, and then submit it to KRA. Now, as soon as KRA approves it, you can come back here and click on connect. Perfect. Okay. So now the process is yet to be completed in this organization. But for you guys, I've already set up something here to show you how this works. So let's take a look at that. All right. So in this organization, I've already set up the eTIMS integration for you. So to help you familiarize with this page, you have an option called as view notices. This particular option, it basically fetch all the notices that KRA has for you. It'll be done from time to time. And then here you'll have two options that is called as fetch code list and fetch item classification code. Fetch code list, this basically fetches all the units that your eTIMS already has, and classification code, this is a unique code preset by KRA to identify the items. So these classification code and code lists and the notices, they vary from time to time. So we have schedules set up at our side, and we will fetch the real-time notices, code lists, etc. from eTIMS, and you won't have to worry about that. So if eTIMS is to make any changes, the change will reflect here automatically. All right. So that's pretty much on the setting up of eTIMS. Now let us see how the master data is created. That is your items, customers, and suppliers. All right. So let's go to the items module. Here you'll have two options. You can create manually, or you can use the option fetch items from eTIMS. So this basically, pulls all the items that you have already in eTIMS into Zoho Books. So let's see how that works. All right. So this basically is the list of items that I already have in eTIMS. At a click of a button, it is now pulled into Zoho Books. So I have multiple options here. That is either create or map. So if the item already exists, I can choose the option map. This allows me to map an existing item with an item with the item that is fetched from eTIMS. If the item is not existing in Zoho Books, all I have to do is click on create. So let's see how the mapping works first. So I have an item called as Africa. Yeah, there you go. So I'll map this particular item. So this item is already there in my database. So all I have to do is, I have to check if this is the right item and click on map. That's it. Just like that, your existing item in eTIMS is mapped to the items in Zoho Books. Now, in case if you want to create a new item, all you have to do is click on create. Almost all the data here is auto-filled since it's fetched from eTIMS. Then I can provide the necessary details. So this is pretty much similar to how you create a normal item in Zoho Books, but there are some additional fields that eTIMS need here. So the unit, this is fetched from the code list, and then we have the item classification code and the packaging unit and the origin country. So these four details are required by eTIMS, and this needs to be filled. And once that is done, you can hit save. All right, so as you can see, as soon as I created the item, it got pushed to eTIMS. We can click on the history section and see that. Just like that, the item is pushed. Now, alternatively, you can also create your items on the fly just by clicking on new item. You just have to provide all the necessary information and push it. So that's pretty much on how you can create the item master, or how you can deal with your items if you were already using eTIMS earlier. Okay, now let us move on to the sale section and the purchases section. So first we'll focus on creating the masters. So I'll first create a vendor. So I'm providing some basic information here, and I'm creating the vendor. And as soon as once I create the vendor, I can start raising my purchase transaction, that is my purchase bill. So again, here you'll have two different options. You can either create your bills manually, or you can fetch it from eTIMS. So at a click of a button, you can fetch all your purchases from eTIMS. You can click on view bills and you can see the bills that is fetched from eTIMS. So here you'll have two options again, like we had in the items module. You can create new bills with the bills that is fetched from eTIMS, or you can map them if the bill is already created in Zoho Books. So let's see how this works. Right. So most of the details, as you can see, it's auto-filled. Now, if you take a look at the item table, you'll have three options here. That is to match the item to the existing items, or you can create the new items. So I'm choosing to create a new item. You can provide the basic details for the item. So an item is created in the item table. Now let's see how the mapping works. So I'll click on match an existing item. So here I have an item called Tuesday already, so I can simply match it. Now we have to add the third item because I do not have that in my database. Again, I'm providing my basic information here. So once all the details are added in the purchase bill, I'll click on save as draft. Once that is done, I can use the option push to eTIMS here. Perfect. So now the bill is already pushed to the eTIMS. Now, if I click on convert to open, the bill will reflect in the reports, and at the same time, the stock of the item will also be pushed to eTIMS. So as you may know already, the eTIMS will also be keeping track of your stock. So after each and every transaction, the stock information will also be pushed from Zoho Books. All right. And also, I want to let you know here we have provided another option for you to fetch your imported items. So this basically fetches all the items that you clear in your customs. So those item details can be fetched here. All right, so that's pretty much on the purchases side. Now let us go to the sales section. So here we'll be creating the customer master first. So let's see how that works. So I have to provide some basic details. So right now I'm providing all the mandatory information. So as soon as that is done, I'll hit save. Now, as you can see, the customer is all automatically pushed to eTIMS. The push details can also be seen in the customer history. So that means the customer is, you're good to go. You can create invoices for this customer. The process here remains very same. There is no change when it comes to creating invoices. So I'm choosing an item that already has stock. Once that is done, I'll hit on push to eTIMS. All right, now the invoice is pushed and the QR code for the invoice is generated. So I'll let this screen stay there for a while. So if you want to, take your mobile and scan this QR, or you can check it out and see how valid it is. You can scan it using any QR app that you have in your phone. All right, so right now this particular invoice is in draft. So once we mark it as sent, the invoices journals will reflect in the reports. And at the same time, the stock is gone out of this invoice. So we will push that information to eTIMS. So let's see how that is done. Hope you all had a chance to scan the QR. So here you can find the option mark as sent. So this will push all the stock information related to this invoice to eTIMS. The same applies for your credit notes as well. You can create a credit note from the invoice itself. The credit note information will be pushed to eTIMS along with the stock information. So the credit note is also created here. So that's pretty much on the sales side. So far, we've integrated eTIMS, then we created the item master, then we created suppliers and created purchase bills. We pushed those bills to eTIMS. Then we created customers and we pushed their invoices. All right. So I think there are a few more things that I want to show you guys here. There is an option. So in case if you have multiple branches, you have to go to settings, branches. Here you'll have the option fetch branches. So one point to note down here is that the integration is at the branch level. So if you have multiple branches, you have to fetch the branches first. So the branch information will fetch. Since it's already fetched, it shows no data to fetch. But once that is fetched, all you have to do is click on add branch. Here the branch will be auto-populated. So all you have to do is select that branch, choose the transaction series that you want, and that's it. So even the branch information that you add will get pushed to eTIMS. So the basic idea here is that you pushed your purchases, you pushed your invoices. At the end of the day, it helps you generate your VAT3 return automatically. So as you already know, Kenya is now switching to pre-fill VAT3 returns. So only if the purchases is pushed by the supplier and only if the invoices are pushed by the customer, you both will be able to file your returns. At the moment, I think they are a bit lenient and you are able to edit the values in the VAT3, but soon that will also be removed and the VAT3 will be purely based on the purchases and invoices that you push. I think that is pretty much from my side. Now, I think, Guru, do you want to say something or over to you, Madan?
Thank you, Vignesh, for your good presentation. Thank you very much. I think that gives an overview of how Zoho Books is integrated with eTIMS compliant solution as a compliant solution, and we are a OSCU solution type that thing. So if you are interested in using this solution, you can. I think we have any contact numbers or email IDs to reach us, Vignesh?
Yes, we do. Madan, can you share the screen and maybe show the support slide? There you go.
Yeah. So we have any questions? Are we? Can we? All the questions are answered, or how is it like? Somebody look at it.
I think we have a few questions to answer. We've got a lot of questions actually. We can pick a few and answer. So most asked question is, when is this going to be available?
So KJ, do you have any timeline for this? Because what you have shown now is on a test environment. We have shown the demo. So how it is, when it is likely to be available for the customers in Kenya?
So for new users who are already VAT registered, they should be able to start using this feature from sometimes next week. For existing users, will take a period of a month to have them migrated. Now, for non-VAT registered users, again, it will take us a month's time.
That's a good timeline to hear. And so these emails, if any questions, any other questions you have there, we can take it. Very common questions there. You can look at the question answers. Maybe you can project it if it is possible for everyone to see, or how is it like?
Sure.
Because we are time constraints also are there, so we might not be able to take every question. But again, all the questions will be answered to the respective people who have raised the question. And
I'll start projecting questions now, Guru. Allow me a moment.
yeah, please. Important questions you can project. Not all the questions, maybe important questions.
Yes. So we have a question here from Daniel. Which solution should I change to if I'm requesting a change of eTIMS solution from KRA?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You will also give the answer?
Yes. So if you're looking to use Zoho Books as your solution provider, you can raise a system change request with KRA. So once that is done, you can have an integration directly with Zoho Books. And the eTIMS type that we support currently is OSCU. So OSCU is basically for the accounting systems and ERPs. So you can request for the OSCU solution and we can have it integrated.
Good.
All right, so moving on to the next question. All right, so another question here from Sheila. What of the non-VAT users? So for non-VAT users, we'll have plans starting from free, and within a month's time, you should be able to use Zoho Books as your eTIMS solution provider. We have a lot of users requesting for the recording of this session. Yes, so once the session is processed session is finished and the video is processed at our side, we should be sending the recording, but this will take some time. So we'll share this after the official announcements from our side.
Okay, I think we are slightly exceeding the time brief. Vignesh, Madan, do you want to jump in here?
Yeah, Guru. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the great questions. Unfortunately, as Guru said, we are running out of time, but we will do our best to respond to any unanswered questions via email after the webinar. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the webinar. I would like to thank our speakers, Guru and KJ, for their valuable insights on how a business can prepare itself to get items ready, the benefits, and how Zoho Books makes the implementation easy. And huge thanks to all of you for joining us today. Huge shout out to Mohammed Sahel for handling the queries during the presentation. We hope you found the session informative and engaging. We'll be having similar sessions in the near future. And follow us on social media where we'll be posting all about those and the future announcement we were all expecting and waiting for. Uh, I'm so eager to see this in the hands of our users. I'll drop the link to our social handles in the broadcast section. Hope you are able to click those links. Thank you all once again and have a great evening.